In Japa session. I thank all of you for attending this session and giving your beautiful association and time. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. Let us move to our next part of the session, which is Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. But before we start our session, may I know who all have joined the call this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, glory to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Nitu Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day consistently. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Yashwamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada, this is Preeti Vilasini Dasi from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Mataji, for a very warm welcoming, and also thank you to Ma Mataji for the beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Priti Vilasani Devidasi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day and giving your beautiful association to us and very, very glorious your services, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, so glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirti Sundri Dasi.
Hare Krishna Kirtida Sundari Devidasi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining and giving your beautiful association every single time and all glories to your services, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Dandavat Pranams to all devotees here.
Hare Krishna Sumi Mataji. Hare Krishna Sumi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day and giving your beautiful association. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves? So welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group. Before we start our session for today, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today, April 3rd. God is also an individual person as you are individual person. I am individual person. But the difference between God and you and me is this, that you know your business. I know my business, but God knows everyone's business. That is the difference. Melbourne, April 3rd, 1972. जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय. तीत पावन शिल प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय. Yeah, so today we are so fortunate to have Her Grace Cinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Dasi Mataji on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat Madhya Khand, chapter 23rd, verses number 87 to 100. So, thank you very much, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for giving your beautiful, valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. Now I am hand over call to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very, very eagerly waiting for.
Hare Krishna, Shramati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your warm welcome. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. My humble obeisances at the lotus feet of all the assembled Vaishnavas here. Please bless me that whatever I speak will totally be in accord with Srila Prabhupada's words, Srila Gurudev's words, and no words from a mental concoction should arise. Thank you, Preeti Vilasni Mataji. Thank you, Kirtida Mataji, for giving me this opportunity. I'm a nobody, but still you encourage me. And with this, the only thing happening is, I hope, is my purification. And please bless me that I'll say something to please you all. So we are in, we'll start with, sorry, Mangalacharan prayers first. ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं। हरिः ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna, Mataji's and Prabhuji's. We are in a beautiful chapter, and this whole week we have had such amazing speakers. Where we learnt about that milk drinking brahmachari, and then this week it started with little bit of glories of holy name, what happened, and Mataji on Monday spoke about how that brahmachari was given mercy by Mahaprabhu, where Mahaprabhu puts his lotus feet on that brahmachari's head because he took the chastisement in the right way. So Mahaprabhu gave him the mercy, and then we went on with Tuesday and Wednesday's class. Yesterday's class was so beautiful, where Mataji spoke about the glories of our Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is the importance of this Mahamantra and how fortunate are we to even receive it, and so on, and what is the purpose of Mahaprabhu coming and everything. So today, so we see how there are some residents of Navadvip who are craving for Mahaprabhu's, to be part of Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan. So they are trying to please Mahaprabhu in many ways. They give him gifts and they try in many ways to be devotional to him. And finally, Mahaprabhu accepts them and he gives them the instructions. He talks about, he imparts them the Mahamantra. And he says, now that they heard the Mahamantra from the lotus mouth of Mahaprabhu, they get empowered and they become Sankirtaniyas. So they start performing Kirtan. And then Mahaprabhu says, he gives Haraya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namah, that verse also. And he says how to perform that Sankirtan. He gives all these instructions to them. And then he embraces each one of them and gives them his garlands. So we'll start from today's verses 87. दंते तृण करी प्रभु परिहर करे अहनिशा भाई सभा भजन कृष्णे रे. With straw between his teeth, the Lord appealed to them, O brothers, worship Krishna day and night. Our Prabhupada Saraswati writes, manifesting his humility before proud people, Sri Gaurasundara humbly requested everyone to always engage in the service of Krishna and never give up the worship of Krishna. So here is the Supreme Lord, putting straw between his teeth and begging ordinary living entities to take up the Lord's name. So we have seen Lord Krishna exhibit humility in various places. He worships the lotus feet of Narada Muni. So we can say, okay, the Lord has taken a human form and he's appeared in this material world. So he's accepted Narada Muni as his spiritual master and washing his feet. So what? Then we see the Lord washing the feet of Sudama Brahmana. Then we can say, okay, Sudama is a Brahmana and he's the Lord's friend, so it's fine. But then what does the Lord do? In the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaja Yudhishthira, where different members take up different services, like Bhima takes up the charge of kitchen, then Nakula takes the charge of supplies, Duryodhana takes the charge of treasury. So Sahadeva says he takes the charge of reception, welcoming everybody. So what does our Supreme Lord do? He takes the charge of washing everybody's feet. All kinds of kings who were coming to attend this Rajasuya sacrifice, our Supreme Lord is there washing their feet. So that's our Lord's humility. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is similarly manifesting his humility here before proud people. And humility is defined by Srila Prabhupada in 13th chapter in Bhagavad Gita as one should not be anxious to be honored by others. And then in a conversation, this really struck me. Srila Prabhupada says humility means that you're convinced beyond any doubt that there is nothing in this world, absolutely nothing. Not your money, not your family, not your fame, not your gun, not your education, nothing. Nothing will save you except the mercy of Krishna. And when you are convinced like this, then you are humble. So this is Srila Prabhupada telling us how should we be humble? Like what should be our mind frame to become humble? And we see our acharyas, our Goswamis, our Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, who have given us all the teachings of Gaudiya Vaishnava. Whatever Mahaprabhu wanted to teach, he taught it to the world through these two brothers. And these two brothers, when they were still Dabira Khasa and Sakaram Mallika, they went to meet Mahaprabhu at Ramakeli. And they first met Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. And then Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they told Mahaprabhu that these two brothers have come. So when they saw Mahaprabhu, our Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they took bundles of straw in their mouth, between their teeth. They tied a cloth around their neck and they fell flat like a rod in front of the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And they shed profuse tears and they offered beautiful prayers. One such prayer is where they say, मत्तुल्य नास्ति पापात्मा नापराधी च कश्चन परिहारेऽपि लज्जा मे किं ब्रूये पुरुषोत्तमा. They say, Dear Lord, let us inform you that no one is more sinful than us, nor is an offender like us, nor is there an offender like us. And even if we wanted to mention our sinful activities, we would immediately become ashamed. What to speak of giving them up? This verse rightly suits me, not our acharyas, but they have taught us how to pray the Supreme Lord. And this is their humility. And then they say such beautiful verses here. They go on to say how Jagai and Madai are far superior to them. We see even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says Jagai and Madai are far superior to them, to him. And our Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they say, for Mahaprabhu to deliver Jagai and Madai, it was very easy. But they are more degraded, more sinful, more fallen than Jagai and Madai. And no one within the three worlds is sufficiently powerful to deliver them. Then they tell Mahaprabhu, you are the only savior of fallen souls. Therefore, there is no one but you. And by showing your mercy on us, your mercy will become successful. If you are not merciful on us, then it will be very difficult to find a more suitable candidate for your mercy. So show mercy on us and become Patita Pavan. Be called Patita Pavan. So this way they say beautiful, beautiful prayers on humility. So we learned how, we saw how our acharyas are humble. So we cannot go without talking about the humility of Srila Prabhupada. So I have a lot here, but I will just read from here and there about from various letters of Srila Prabhupada. We can learn about Prabhupada's humility here. So first is our Prabhupada's prayer to the lotus feet of Krishna when he was on Jaladuta. Here Prabhupada says, although my Guru Maharaj ordered me to accomplish this mission, I am not worthy of it or fit to do it. I am very fallen and insignificant. Therefore, O Lord, now I am begging for your mercy so that I may become worthy. For you are the wisest and most experienced of all. Then in a letter, Srila Prabhupada writes, practically there is no credit for me. If there is any credit, it goes to my spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, who is helping me by sending so many good souls like you in this moment. Whatever is being done, it is due to his divine grace only. So my business is just to carry out his order. That is the way of disciplic succession. And as you have all come to me, if you also follow the same principles, then our combined effort to serve Lord Krishna will be successful. And Prabhupada writes, this is the prediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As many towns and villages are there all over the world, this Krishna consciousness movement will be spread. So there is no credit for me, but it is only a teeny attempt, a humble attempt. So if one man could do, if you say some success, why not all of us? So this is the mood of Srila Prabhupada. That Srila Prabhupada who circled the globe 14 times in 11 to 12 years and who opened more than 100 temples in that short period of time. That Srila Prabhupada says these things. And then he says, when I left your country on the 22nd of July, I had very little hope to come back again. But Krishna informed me that I'm not going to die immediately. Therefore, I have come back again to get inspiration of Krishna consciousness from you all good souls. Although officially I'm your spiritual master, I consider you all students as my spiritual master because your love for Krishna and service for Krishna teach me how to become a sincere Krishna conscious person. This is Srila Prabhupada. I'll just have ticked many things, but I will just read this last one because I have a lot to cover today. So, Prabhupada here writes, Guru Maharaj liked me. So this is a conversation. So Prabhupada is telling this to one disciple. Guru Maharaj liked me. I know. By his blessing it is. Everything has happened. I was not worth. What did I? I do not know why he liked. I was not worth. There were so many disciples and still he liked me. So the devotee says, he could see how pure you were, Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, maybe, but out of his affection, it is his goodwill. He can like anyone, any dog, doesn't matter. But I know he liked me. Anyone by his choice of free will, he can love any damn thing. It doesn't matter. That is called Kripa Siddhi. I like this man. This man must be prominent. That is his will. It doesn't matter on qualification. So all these people, they like me not on my qualification, but out of affection, out of goodwill. So this is Srila Prabhupada displaying his humility and showing us what actually humility means in action. We will move on. So now the residents of Navadvip, they are seeing Mahaprabhu show his humility. And what are they doing? Prabhura dekhiya arti khande sarva jana kaya mana vakye lai lena sankirtana. They all cried on seeing the Lord's anxiety. They then engaged in the process of sankirtana with their bodies, minds, and speech. So after hearing Sri Mahaprabhu's heart-rending appeal, the listeners began to cry because of their own sinful mentality. They then took shelter of devotional service in the form of kirtana with their bodies, minds, and speech. So they started dancing, singing with their body, with their words they were singing, and with their mind they were thinking of Mahaprabhu, and they started the Sankirtan. परम आह्लादे सब नगरीय गणा हाथे ताली दिया बले राम नारायणा. In great jubilation, all the inhabitants of Navadvipa clapped their hands and chanted the names of Rama and Narayana. So this clapping of hands is very important in Nectar of Devotion. Srila Rupa Goswami says, in the Dwaraka Mahatmya, the importance of dancing before the deity is stated by Lord Krishna as follows. A person who is in a jubilant spirit, who feels profound devotional ecstasy while dancing before me, who manifests different features of bodily expression, can burn away all the accumulated sinful reactions he has stocked up for many, many thousands of years. And then, just as by clapping the hands, one can cause many birds to fly away. Similarly, the birds of all sinful activities which are sitting on the body can be made to fly away simply by dancing and clapping before the deity of Krishna. This is the importance of clapping our hands and dancing in front of the Supreme Lord. All our sins and sinful propensities, everything will just fly away like birds fly away. So this is something for us to know, for me to know. And this is how everybody was clapping their hands and performing Sankirtan. Mridanga mandira shankha sarva ghare durgotsava kale vadya vaja bare tare. They all had mridangas, kartalas, and conchs in their homes that they used during the Durga Puja festival. So here our Prabhupada Saraswati says, every religious-minded person had musical instruments like mridanga and conch shell in their houses. They used them in autumn or on the occasion of Mahamaya Puja in the month of Chaitra. Such worship is performed for the purpose of attaining temporary worldly happiness. Those musical instruments were now used in the constant glorification of Hari. So here is an example of Yukta Vairagya. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Upayunjataha Nirbandhaha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. So not attached to anything. One accepts everything in relation to Krishna. So then he is situated properly. So everything material can become spiritual when we use them in the service of Krishna. So till now, all the mridangas, all the kartalas, whatever they had, they were using it in the, to glorify Mahamaya, Durga. For what? So that they get sense gratification, they get various opulences. So these material instruments were now being used to constantly glorify Hari, and all those instruments were becoming spiritualized in Navadvip. Sei saba vadya eva kirtana samaye gayena vayena sabe santosha hridaye. Everyone was happy now to use those musical instruments at the time of Kirtana. Hari O Rama Rama, Hari O Rama Rama, Eyi Mata Nagare Uthila Brahmanama. In this way, the entire town became filled with the chanting of the Lord's transcendental names. Hari O Rama Rama, Hari O Rama Rama. So thus began the Nagar Sankirtan, the first Nagar Sankirtan, which our Mahaprabhu started. So at this point, so Mahaprabhu started Nagar Sankirtan, and then in Navadvip, and Srila Prabhupada took this Nagar Sankirtan all over the globe. Everywhere, in every part of the world, there is Nagar Sankirtan. Every small town has Nagar Sankirtan because of Prabhupada's mercy. So I thought it's been a long while since we all read Leelamrita in this platform. So we will go to Srila Prabhupada's first Nagar Sankirtan in Tompkins Square in New York in the year 1966, the month of October. This is a very, very long discussion. So I will again be picking up sentences from here, there, paragraphs from here, there. Satswarup Maharaj has written this so beautifully. We can just immerse ourselves in this section. But respecting everybody's time, I will try to make it very short. So this is October 1966. Tompkins Square Park. So this was a park on the Lower East Side. So now our Srila Prabhupada is staying on 26th 2nd Avenue on the Lower East Side in that beautiful storefront which is called Matchless Gifts. And he has initiated some disciples and he has a nice follower group. So this Tompkins Square Park was a park. On the south of this park, it was bordered by the 7th Street. On the north side, there were it had the 10th Street. There were many brownstones there. And on the east side, there stood a church. And on the west border of the park, there was an avenue, Avenue A, which was lined with tiny candy stores, which was selling magazines, newspapers, cigarettes, sodas, and there were a few bars, grocery stores, a couple of Slavic restaurants, which brought a lot of Ukrainian and hippies because they sold some inexpensive vegetable broths there, so on. And this park itself was a 10-acre land. It had tall trees and more than half the park was paved. And on this day, somewhere I saw it's October 9th, I'm not very sure of the date. It was a Sunday. The weather was still very warm And the park was crowded with people. What kind of people were there? All kinds of people were there. There were many Ukrainians. So this Lower East Side was a hub for many, many immigrants. So many Ukrainians were there, dressed in outdated suits and sweaters. There were many Puerto Ricans. There were many children in the park, mostly Puerto Ricans and blacks, but there were also fair-haired, hard-faced slum kids racing around in bikes, playing frisbees and balls. And the basketball and handball courts were filled with teenagers. And there were hippies everywhere. There were Bohemians. Bohemians were very prominent in the 60s. They were there. And so this way there were various groups. And this Lower East Side was a very mystic place. It was not just a dirty slum. It was the best place in the world to conduct experiment in consciousness in all ways. All kinds of seekers were there. And our Srila Prabhupada is in this place. For all its filth and threat of violence and the confined life of its brownstone tenements, the Lower East Side was still the forefront of revolution in mind expansion. And the most progressive evolution of human consciousness was taking place there in all forms. There were psychedelic drugs, marijuana drugs were there, marijuana was there, everything was there. And there were, everyone was pursuing some sort of spiritual quest. And also there were some regular people. Into this chaotic pageant, Swamiji entered with his followers and sat down to hold a kirtana. 3 or 4 devotees who arrived ahead of him selected an open area of the park, put out an oriental carpet, sat down on it and began playing kartalas and chanting Hare Krishna. Meanwhile, Swamiji, accompanied by half a dozen disciples, was walking the 8 blocks from the storefront. This is so beautiful. I'll just read this paragraph. I don't want to skip it. We can just imagine our Prabhupada walking, and this is so beautiful. So he's walking with his disciples. Who are they? Brahmananda carried the harmonium and Swami's drum. Kirtanananda, who was now shaven-headed at Swamiji's request and dressed in loose flowing canary yellow robes, created an extra sensation. Drivers pulled their cars over to have a look, their passengers leaning forward, agape at the outrageous dress and shaven head. As the group passed a store, people inside would poke each other and indicate the spectacle. People came to the windows of their tenements, taking in the Swami and his group as if a parade were passing. The Puerto Rican tough guys especially couldn't restrain themselves from exaggerated reactions. "Hey, Buddha," they taunted. "Hey, you forgot to change your pajamas." They made shrill screams as if imitating Indian war whoops they had heard in Western movies. "Hey, Arabs," exclaimed one heckler, who began imitating what he thought was an Eastern dance. No one on the street knew anything about Krishna consciousness, nor even of Hindu culture and customs. To them, the Swami's entourage was just a bunch of crazy hippies showing off. But they didn't quite know what to make of the Swami. He was different. Nevertheless, they were very suspicious. Hippies? What are they, communists? Today, the ethnic members just assumed that Prabhupada and his followers had come onto the streets dressed in outlandish costumes as a joke, just to turn everything topsy-turvy and cause tears and howls. They felt that their responses were only natural for any normal, respectable American slum dweller. So, it was quite an adventure before the group even reached the park. And Swamiji, however, remained unaffected. And he would ask Brahmananda, "What are they saying?" And that way. And Prabhupada had a way of holding his head high, his chin up as he walked forward. It made him look aristocratic and determined. His vision was spiritual. He saw everyone as a spirit soul and Krishna as the controller of everything. The Kirtana had begun for about 10 minutes now when Swamiji arrived, stepping out of his white rubber slippers, just as if he were home in the temple, he sat down on the rug with his followers who had now stopped their singing and were watching him. He wore a pink sweater and around his shoulders a khadi wrapper. He smiled. Looking at his group, he indicated the rhythm by counting 1, 2, 3. Then he began clapping his hands heavily. The kartalas followed, at first with wrong beats, but Swamiji kept clapping and slowly they picked up the beat. I'm paraphrasing here and there a little bit, so please forgive me. Swamiji began singing prayers that no one else knew. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. His voice was sweet like the harmonium, rich in the nuances of Bengali melody. Sitting on the rug under a large oak tree, he sang the mysterious Sanskrit prayers. As he sang, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam, the dogs came by, kids stared, a few mockers pointed fingers. Hey, who is that priest? But his voice was a shelter beyond the clashing dualities. His boys went on ringing cymbals while he sang alone. Shri Radha Krishna Padan. Prabhupada sang prayers in praise of Srimati Radharani, pure conjugal love for Krishna, the beloved of the gopis. Each word passed down for hundreds of years by the intimate associates of Krishna was saturated with deep transcendental meaning that only he understood. Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. They waited for him to begin Hare Krishna, although hearing him chant was exciting enough. More people came, which was what Prabhupada wanted. He wanted them chanting and dancing with him, and now his followers wanted that too. The followers, they think, it seemed that this would be the thing they would always do. Go with Swamiji, sit and chant. He would always be with them chanting. That was how his disciples were thinking. Then Swamiji began the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So his followers, initially they muddled, they responded very low, but Swamiji kept the pace, he kept going. And then he looked at them. So how was the look? He looked with his inner concentration, his old age wisdom, his bhakti. And out of love for Swamiji, they broke loose from their surroundings and joined him as a chanting congregation. Swamiji played his small drum, holding its strap in his left hand, bracing the drum against his body, and with his right hand playing the intricate mridanga rhythms. Now, thus began our Nagar Sankirtan. He was going strong. After half an hour, repeating the mantra, carrying them with him, as interested onlookers gathered in greater numbers. So few hippies also joined. They sat on the rug. They copied how to sit cross-legged and they sat. They started clapping. They started chanting. And the small inner circle of Prabhupada and his followers grew as gradually more people joined. So as I was reading this, I was thinking, our Mahaprabhu, when he danced in front of Rath Yatra, and he would dance very ecstatically, at that time also, his intimate followers would form a very, very tight circle around Mahaprabhu and protect him. So that way, Prabhupada was there sitting with his inner circle of followers, and there were all outsiders coming. And as always, Prabhupada's kirtan attracted musicians. So various musicians came, a saxophone player came, and bamboo flutes, metal flutes, mouth organs, wood and metal clackers, tambourines, guitars, and there were many conga and bongo drum players who were there. They also came. So this way, many musicians joined our first Nagar Sankirtan. And Prabhupada was striking to see. His brow was furrowed in the effort of singing aloud. His visage was strong. The veins in his temple stood out visibly. His jaw jutted forward as he sang his Hare Krishna for all to hear. Although his demeanor was pleasant, his chanting was intensive. sometimes training, and everything about him was concentration. Then Swamiji motioned to his disciples, and they got up and began dancing. Striyadisha, Achyutananda, Brahmananda. So they all got up, they stretched their arms, and they started dancing. Photographers in the crowd moved forward. The boys danced, shifting their weight from left foot to right foot, striking a series of angelic poses, their large red chanting beads around their necks. They were doing the Swami step. And so it went on for hours. And then it was 4 o'clock, and the warm autumn sun was still shining on the park. The atmosphere was peaceful, the audience attentive and mellow from the concentration of the mantra. Then our Srila Prabhupada began to speak. He thanked everyone for joining the kirtan. Then he explained the meaning of the kirtan very shortly. And Prabhupada stood erect by the stout oak tree, his hands folded loosely before him. His light saffron robes covered him gracefully. So now he finally had Krishna Bhakti going, flowing like the Ganges to the sea, it could not stop. In his heart, he felt the infinite will of Lord Chaitanya to deliver the fallen souls. He knew this was the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his own spiritual master. So this is our first Nagar Sankirtan by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. I'm so sorry, I'll take a little extra time. Maybe today I couldn't restrain myself. So many things kept coming. This is Dancing White Elephants by His Holiness Giriraj Swami. This is all about Sankirtan movement. I am just going to pick one small passage. This is about Srila Prabhupada traveling in India from August 1970 to March 1972 is what Maharaj has written. So this chapter is Surat. So Prabhupada would travel taking his disciples all over India in this time frame. And this was in Surat. I will read this passage again. Maharaj says, the entire city was excited and prepared, eagerly awaiting our arrival. Giant signs in Gujarati read, welcome to the American and European devotees of Krishna. Welcome to members of the Hare Krishna movement. The streets were lined with stalks of plantain and decorated with religious symbols and flower designs painted with rice flour, and different colored saris and strings of flowers and leaves were draped from one side to the other. It was a spectacular festive atmosphere. People had never seen foreign sadhus before, and they lined the street in thousands, running from all directions, standing on top of buildings and clustering in windows to see us. So there we saw how when Prabhupada was walking, how those Puerto Ricans and those people were also clustering near the windows. No matter what, here, this is in Surat, it is more like a religious thing they know, but those people also didn't know, but the effect is same. When a sadhu walks, the effect is same. Okay, so women threw flower petals from the rooftops as we processed, chanting Hare Krishna. And every half block or so, we would have to stop due to people approaching us to offer aarti with flowers, incense, and lit ghee lamps, put kumkum on our foreheads, place garlands around our necks, and invite us to their homes. So this way, and this Maharaj writes, Shyamasundar and Saraswati were particular attractions. Shyamasundar, so tall and handsome, and little 3-year-old Saraswati with her blue eyes and blonde hair, clapping and dancing in kirtan. In all, as Kaushalya said, Surat was very special. The whole town was surcharged with Krishna consciousness. Everybody welcomed us wherever we went, but they welcomed us more in Surat than any place. I'll just read this Yamuna Mataji's narration. It is so beautiful. Yamuna, like the rest of us, was in bliss. It had been my desire this is Yamuna Mataji talking, which Maharaj is writing. It had been my desire from the beginning of my devotional life, and I prayed for the day that I would be in India with Srila Prabhupada. She remembered. So when he returned to San Francisco, he asked me if I still wanted to go to India. Tears immediately came to my eyes, and I said, yes, Swamiji, very much. to walk in the footsteps of great Vaishnavas who chanted and danced in the streets before us, and to be able to touch the hearts of people along the way with Harinam Sankirtan were simply the most wonderful and nectarian things. Srila Prabhupada assured me that he would take me to the highest place, and for me, Nagar Sankirtan with Srila Prabhupada was that place. Just read a small passage. There was one Nagar Sankirtan. This is again Yamuna Mataji writing. There was one Nagar Sankirtan that struck me in the heart, just like lightning. It was the culmination and fulfillment of Srila Prabhupada's words. Our group of Sankirtana members had been informed that the next morning our Nagar Sankirtan would begin at 4 a.m. and proceed through the main streets of the town. We had gathered and we were all walking through the streets, chanting very ecstatically. Externally, we had many flower garlands, and internally, we were all decorated with glorious chanting of the holy names. So sometime between 6:30 and 7 a.m., all the people were out building their morning fires, and a haze of smoke stretched lazily across the early morning sky. The sun was just beginning to peak above the horizon on the long dirt road as we were traveling on. So this is so beautiful. So by now, a good-sized crowd of people were following behind us. And as we continued down the dirt road, it slightly took an upward slope and then it crossed a river. So it became a bridge. So we began moving towards the center. And just as we reached the crest of the bridge, the sun rose across the trees. And Srila Prabhupada was standing in the dead center of the road with this light illuminating him from all sides, just as if he were the rising sunlight itself. That picture is burned in my memory. It is still very emotional to think about this. There he was with his hands raised and his robes draping on the ground, and he looked just like descriptions of Lord Chaitanya. He was so powerful and so beautiful. I remember all the devotees simply went mad with ecstasy, first having this wonderful Nagar Sankirtan, and then Srila Prabhupada, seeing Srila Prabhupada in this surreal way. It was unbelievable. Then His Divine Grace personally walked through the streets with us and chanted on Nagar Sankirtan until about 8:30 a.m. So, and then one more thing, I'm sorry. One more thing which came to my mind when the Sankirtan was going on was the Radha Damodar Sankirtan party, which was started by Prabhupada's disciples. Actually, His Holiness Vishnujan Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Kirtanananda Swami Maharaj, they began this Sankirtan party, this Nagar Sankirtan, Radha Damodar Sankirtan party. And then when His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj joined it, it became so profound. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj took it to a very, very different level. So this is, so what they did was they took a Greyhound bus, a regular Greyhound bus, and they had Radha Damodar deities in them. And then this bus drove all over USA. And they would go to colleges, fairs, festivals, any large gatherings. And Maharajas, along with some brahmacharis, they would set up tents and they would perform kirtan, they would distribute books, they would distribute prasadam. And this is how they were giving Krishna consciousness to everybody. And that bus was a customized bus. And it had everything which was needed for a mobile Krishna conscious temple. So this is from the Back to Godhead, July 1974 edition. I think it was written by Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and Vishnujan Swami Maharaj. Please, I beg forgiveness if I'm wrong here about the authors, but this is taken from that edition. For 10 monks serving the Supreme Lord as he tours the continent is full of unlimited bliss. We perform ceremonies of worship 6 times a day, even while moving 60 miles per hour. In a compact kitchen, we cook prasadam for hundreds. We study daily the sacred teaching of Bhakti Yoga given to us by Srila Prabhupada. And we are always prepared for the order of our spiritual master, who can send us anywhere to glorify the Supreme Lord and defeat atheistic propaganda. So this was Radha Damodar party. And today morning I was hearing a small audio clip by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and he was talking about this. And he said how devotees, when this Radha Damodar party, it began with one bus and it took off in a very, very exponential way with many buses. And when devotees went to Prabhupada and they said, "Oh, Prabhupada, you know what? They have Radha Krishna deities in these buses and they tie them with ropes because they don't want the deities to fall down when the bus is moving." And Prabhupada looked and said, "Oh, is it? Then we should name them Radha Damodar because he's the one who's bound with ropes." So that is how it ought to be called Radha Damodar Sankirtan party. So this is something regarding our own Srila Prabhupada's Nagar Sankirtan. We'll move on. I hope I can finish this part quickly. So this is text 93 now. Kolavecha Sridhara Yayena Sri Pathe Dirgha Kari Hari Nama Balite Balite. Now Kolavecha Sridhar was walking down that same path and he loudly heard this chanting of Harinam. Shuniya Kirtana Arambhila Mahanritya Anande Vihvala Haila Chaitanya Bhritya. When that servant of Lord Chaitanya heard the Kirtana, he became overwhelmed and began to dance in ecstasy. देखिया ताहन सुख नगरिया गण वेदिया चौड़ी के सबे करे न कीर्तना. And when the town's inhabitants saw how joyful he was, he gathered around him and performed kirtana. Gadagadiyaena Sridhara Premarase Bahirmukha Sakala Durite Thakihase. As Sridhara began to roll on the ground in ecstatic love, the materialists laughed at him from a distance. Kona papi bale hera dekhe bhai saba kola vecha minasa o haila Vaishnava. One of these sinners said, "Oh brothers, just look at him. Even that Kolavecha fellow has become a Vaishnava." So here is our Kolavecha Sridhar, that dear devotee of Mahaprabhu, who just wanted to serve Mahaprabhu birth after birth in the same way, selling bananas to Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu arguing with him. He didn't ask for, he had the opportunity to ask for anything from Mahaprabhu and he chose to ask this, "Let me remain just like this." And where you come in each of my birth and you argue with me, you defeat me in arguments, you bother me and you take away my bananas. So that Kolavecha Sridhar is rolling on the ground in ecstatic dance. And the sincere Kirtaniyas, they are around him, encouraging him and performing Kirtan. And what are these materialists doing? They're saying, "Oh, that Kolavecha has also become a Vaishnava now." So these purports for the next few verses are so important. I'll try my best to understand them and tell them properly. Matajis are more than welcome to correct it if my understanding goes wrong anywhere. So Prabhupada Saraswati in this, it's a big purport, so I will try to tell what I've understood. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, so in a society, businessmen, small merchants, they are all situated in the lower rungs of the society. And a Vaishnava is called the topmost. Okay. And generally, people in the higher rungs or those who are educated, they do not allow people from the lower rungs to become Vaishnavas. Okay. Actually, anybody can become a Vaishnava, but these people who are situated in the higher rungs, they do not allow these people to become Vaishnavas. And then Prabhupada Saraswati quotes a verse, which Sage Atri said. I'll just read the translation. It goes on like this. It says, people who cannot understand Vedas should study Dharma Shastras. If they can't study Dharma Shastras, they should turn to Puranas. And if they are even unable to grasp the real purport of Puranas, then they should become farmers. And those who cannot do anything else, they can become professional Bhagavatam reciters, although they have no real understanding of Bhagavatam. So this is how it is being told in a very sarcastic way. And then there is also a Bengali proverb Prabhupada Saraswati says, which means that when farmers are unable to grow anything, they will take up to Kirtana and they will convert their sickles to Kartalas. So this way, highly educated people and so-called people of the higher rung in the society, they stop people in the lower rungs to become Vaishnavas. And then text 98, which actually purport-wise, it is a continuation of the previous verse. So I'll read text 98. Paridhana vastra nahi, pete nahi bhata, loke re janaya bhava haila ama. Kulavecha Sridhar has no clothes to wear and no rice to eat. Yet he advertises, I am in ecstasy. So here Prabhupada Saraswati says, ordinary people, they think if one wears fine clothes and acts civilized and he eats very palatable food, he earns a lot of money, then he's a Vaishnava. That was how general thinking is. But actually, one has to give up all these propensities of wearing fine clothes, eating palatable food. What, Mataji? Convert what to Kartal? The sickles of the farmers, Mataji. Farmers will have these sickles, right, to chop the grass. That they will convert to Kartals. That's a Bengali proverb. So, Prabhupada Saraswati says, I'm so sorry, excuse me. Prabhupada Saraswati says, when we give up this propensity of wearing fine clothes, eating palatable foods, then by the influence of higher thinking, we can become eligible for the service of the Supreme Lord. Okay, and this is the verdict of the Shastras. But then again, Prabhupada Saraswati brings a twist here in his purport. And he says, now poverty-stricken people, they have taken advantage of this verdict of Shastras. And they are saying, okay, there should be no fine clothes, there should be no palatable food. That's what we are. So let us start displaying artificial love for God. And taking advantage of their state of poverty, they identify themselves as devotees situated in Bhava Bhakti. And Prabhupada Saraswati says, these people will definitely be touched by sin. This is not at all right. So, just because one is poor, he cannot be called Vaishnava. Just because one is rich, he cannot be called Vaishnava. Any person can become a Vaishnava, but he has to follow the process. Process given by Mahaprabhu, process given by Srila Prabhupada, we have to follow and become a Vaishnava. Try to become a Vaishnava. So that's the purport I understood from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's purport of these two verses. And here in context, I thought of narrating. I'll narrate it very shortly. The pastime of Srila Haridas Thakur. So Srila Haridas Thakur was in Puliagram, and there in one house of a wealthy merchant, a snake charmer came, and he was reciting some mantras and he was dancing. And with the power of these mantras, Nagaraj or Shesha entered his body and took over. And at that time, the snake charmer started reciting beautiful verses about Kaliya Daman, and he was dancing for it. And many people surrounded around him, and they took part in the kirtan with lots of musical instruments. Everything was going on. And then Srila Haridas Thakur was witnessing this. and he gets taken over by ecstasy. And Srila Haridas Thakur, actually, when he hears this snake charmer recite these verses of Kaliya Leela, Haridas Thakur faints in ecstasy. And then he regains his consciousness after some time and starts dancing. And Haridas Thakur dances so beautifully in such an ecstasy that everybody around him gets mesmerized by seeing this. The snake charmer moves to a side and lets Srila Haridas Thakur dance, take over and dance. And everybody gets carried away. And after some time, Srila Haridas Thakur regains his external consciousness and stops dancing. At that time, everybody goes and takes dust from his lotus feet and put it on their head. There was one pseudo Brahmana there who thought, okay, so if you do all these kinds of performance, then you can attract people's respect. So thinking this way, he started to dance, just like Srila Haridas Thakur. But then the snake charmer immediately took a stick, chased him, beat him, and chased him away. Then the people around him asked, when Srila Haridas Thakur danced, you let him dance, but you did not let this Brahmana dance. Why? Then Shesha spoke through the mouth of the snake charmer. Shesha said, the pseudo Brahmana, he wanted to enviously imitate Srila Haridas Thakur, and he has no love for Krishna. One has to be free from all kinds of duplicity to start devotional service. And then he glorified Srila Haridas Thakur's dance. He said, one who sees Srila Haridas Thakur dance gets freed from all material bondage. When Srila Haridas Thakur dances, Lord Krishna personally dances. The whole universe can be purified by Srila Haridas Thakur's dance. And our Kulavecha Sridhar, who was dancing, he was in Mahaprakash Leela with Srila Haridas Thakur. So, and that Mahaprakash Leela, which was for a very, very restricted group of intimate associates, Kulavecha Sridhar was personally summoned there by Mahaprabhu. He came and mercy was given to him. So that is the position of Kulavecha Sridhar. So Kulavecha Sridhar's dance can be compared to Haridas Thakur's dance, not the pseudo Brahmana's dance, which these materialists were doing. So text 99. Nagariya gulabale magi khai mare akalete durgotsava anileka ghare. The local inhabitants said they are unable to maintain themselves by begging, so they are celebrating Durga Puja festival at the wrong time. So again, here this purport also, Prabhupada Saraswati, these purports are so beautiful. He uses a lot of sarcasm, a lot of, of course, it's Prabhupada Saraswati and his intelligence. It took me a lot of readings to understand, and I could still be wrong. So here, what it is generally these materialists, what Prabhupada Saraswati is saying in this purport is these materialists, they work very hard and they gain a lot of money to maintain their family. And then when this Durga Puja comes, what they do is they use all these musical instruments and they employ everything, all their opulences they have in their sense gratification at that time. So they basically enjoy themselves dancing, eating palatable foods and so on. So they are saying this Kulavecha Sridhar, who doesn't even have any kind of opulence, who doesn't have clothes to wear, food to eat, why is he? And he doesn't even have any kind of opulence, and why is he doing all these things, and that too at a wrong time? He is kind of performing Durga Puja at a very wrong time. So that is their way of seeing it. So the last verse for today. Eimata Pashandira Valgaya Sadaya Pratidina Nagariya Gane Krishna Gaya. In this way, the atheists always criticized, while the inhabitants of Navadvip daily sang the glories of Krishna. And with this, we end. I actually have some pictures to share. Is it okay, Mataji? Shall I share? I just wanted to show some pictures. Can you all see?
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the oak tree, which is now called the Hare Krishna tree in Tompkins Park, where Srila Prabhupada performed his first Nagar Sankirtan. Some pictures from the Tompkins Square Park Sankirtan. And Prabhupada is singing, and his disciples are sitting, and various people soon join him. And this is Prabhupada at the end, standing and thanking everybody for coming and requesting everybody to take up chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. This is the Surat Nagar Sankirtan. This is Yamuna Mataji. I assume this is Giriraj Swami Maharaj. Siksagri Mataji can correct me. She's there, I don't know. This was one more picture which came. And this is the Radha Damodar party. This is Radha Damodar who get tied by ropes when they go in the bus, and then they give darshan to everybody like Jagannath. They're just there giving darshan to everybody. This is the Hare Krishna buses, the Nagar Sankirtan party. This is Prabhupada sitting in the bus. This is Vishnu Jai Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. This is Vishnu Jai Swami Maharaj cooking in the bus, and this is the bus. Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji and Matajis, for patiently hearing. Please correct all my mistakes. I'm sure I made many of them. Thank you.
Very well. Very, very nice class. I was just thinking the way it started with Prabhupada's humility. It was so beautiful. He was telling, that how he was telling that his disciples are somewhat like his instructors, and then how he was telling his Guru Maharaj also. By chance, he just chose him. It was his causeless mercy. And then about this Radha Damodar party and how they came to be known as Radha Damodar. And also about later, I think you were also talking about Kulavecha Sridhar, his situation and how people were misinterpreting it. And really, really very interesting class, Mataji. Thank you so much. It was so nice to meditate on the different qualities of Srila Prabhupada. Actually, today's class, I think, was a Leela Amrita class. It was very nice, Mataji. Very, very nice to think about Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. You helped me understand those purports, but even then, I don't know if I conveyed it properly. So if I did any mistake, please forgive me, Mataji, and correct me.
It was great, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Excellent class, Mataji. Very, very beautiful. And as Mataji already told, that it was very meditative, especially on Srila Prabhupada, his humility and the way he took this movement forward, along with his glorious disciples. So thank you, Mataji. And one thing I want to add, if it's okay with you, about this Greyhound bus, this Sankirtan bus. So first of all, yes, these Radha Damodar deities, and now they are being served in Gita Nagari.
Oh, those are the deities, Mataji.
Yes, they are the
I've been to Gita Nagari. I didn't know that. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for that.
feel very fortunate that once I got an opportunity to dress them.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, my Guru Maharaj would always say that the beauty of this Greyhound bus was that from like there are two doors to enter and to exit. So he says devotees will enter from the main door and they'll be normal people. But once they exit, they'll be all shaved off.
Really? That level.
So when they'll exit, they'll get shaved off and they'll wear all kanthi mala, their whole attire will change. So this happens in that Sankirtan in just, moment, taking entry from one door and exiting from another door. The whole, everything gets transformed. So, yes, Mataji. And thank you for sharing the pictures from New York. It's so beautiful. It reminds us that, yes, that was the real place, and Hare Krishna tree, everything. Thank you, Mataji, for the brilliant session and the way you were reading from, yeah, it's Dancing White Elephants, right?
Yes, dancing with elephants. Very nice.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. I need your blessings. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I thought that you were reading from Shamasundar's book, this, what is Chasing the Rhinos. But you didn't take anything from that, right?
No, Mataji, I don't have it. I want it, but I don't have it. This
Well,
is that's Swami Maharaj's.
definitely. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Chinmay Mataji, beautiful class. Thanks for all the Prabhupada Lilamrit and all those pastimes, Nagar Sankirtan. It was really such a pleasure to hear all those things, Mataji. And you read so beautifully with so much expressions, and it really heightens the mood of the listener too. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, I don't have any questions. Hare Krishna.
Please add no questions. And Mataji, is this Maharaj? I always had that question. I'm asking you. Saksagri Mataji?
Yes, Mata. In the back is Maharaj Mataji. I had put on the chat too. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Got this book. I was trying to find out and I couldn't get that younger picture of Maharaj to compare. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. Mataji, I have a question. Question is, from where did you read about the humility part of Srila Prabhupada?
That was from some conversation, Mataji. I will send it to you, Mataji. Some conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. And the class was very, very beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Mataji, thank you so much. One was, of course, the definition which Prabhupada gives in Bhagavad Gita, that nothing can save us except Krishna. Was I took it from some conversation, Mataji. I'll send you. Thank you, Mataji.
Thanks, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Such a very beautiful class, Mataji. Whatever all Matajis, Priti Vilasini Mataji and Kirtida Sundari Mataji and Sukhsagari Mataji, they say, I totally agree. And I am thinking about how beautiful the scene was when the Mahaprabhu was doing Sankirtan and Srila Prabhupada, he did Sankirtan with these all people. So I am just imagining, and I am getting so much pleasure to hear this, because once I went to whose class I went, and then at that time I saw the picture of Srila Prabhupada, and it was look like, and the Sankirtan was going on. It was look like that, oh, Prabhupada is here. I felt like that, oh, Prabhupada is here. Totally like that. I think Amrendra Prabhu's class, I went in here when he came in Chicago in someone's devotees, and they get like a hall, and in the hall they get Sankirtan. Oh my God, it was so nice, Mataji. Like transcendental vibrations and everything it was. And I felt like that, oh, I told my daughter, oh, it looks like Prabhupada is here. So it was so nice. So I am imagining how it was, the scene was when Mahaprabhu dancing with all disciples and everything, Nagar Sankirtan, and how Prabhupada, he was dancing with all his disciples. So sometimes I think that, oh, I miss, like, the bhav I get like that, and I'm missing that thing that, oh, Prabhupada was here and I was here. How can I couldn't see him? I was so unfortunate. I couldn't see him, Mataji. It was so nice. And whatever you talk about humility and everything, very nice. We should be humble all the time and give respect and honors to others. Then we can get everything that Krishna leads to us. Very nice, Mataji. It was so nice. And whenever you, all the narration you do, all Lilamrut, Prabhupada Lilamrut, it was coming like in, when I read, it was so nice, whole Lilamrut, Mataji. This is Lilamrut class, whatever everybody say, I agree. So nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. And also the pictures, beautiful pictures. You remind everything else of Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Shumati Mataji. Mataji, about humility, it is just talk, Mataji. Nothing is inside. Please bless me that I get.
No, Mataji, you are always very nice narration and very nice the class given. Totally, you just did the very good for your Guru Maharaj. Yeah, Mataji. So nice.
Thank you.
So
Thanks.
grateful to you, Mataji, and all glories to your service, Mataji.
Thank you, Matajis. I want to thank Matajis in the chat too for blessing me. Please keep me in your prayers, Matajis. Bhagyashri Mataji and Siksagri Mataji has written. And Parima Mataji, Indulika Mataji, Neetu Mataji. Then Harita Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Matajis. Please keep me in your prayers. I need all your blessings. Mataji,
Yeah, Mataji. So if your permission, can we end the class? Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji, for your beautiful narration for the Prabhupada Lilamrut, and very, very enlightening class, and very, very, the imagine how to imagine meditating class for that thing. And we are so grateful to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your services, Mataji. And we look forward to your association again in future. So, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Caitanya Bhagavata ki Jai. Har Grace Cinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Dasi Mataji ki Jai. Hari Bol Mataji. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Thank you for the beautiful class, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.